right back. Be back. I don't know why it's doing this shit tonight. We're leaking viewers. Okay, well, I'll give the YouTubers a chance to leak back in. I need to go get my food. It is probably sitting outside. I haven't checked, but it's probably there. So, I will be right back. Sorry about all the interruptions. I don't know what's happening. Hopefully, it's just a temporary thing. Take a bong rip. I'm actually sustaining from weed intake. I have been for a couple months now. Primarily because I have clinicals coming up. And I need to be clean for that. But chat overcooked. But also it's just better to not be on weed. It's better for you, you know, while I drink alcohol, but whatever. Alright, I'll be right back. Let me go get some food.
Okay.
This the way
Okay, I'm back, but I do have food, and I need a second to eat a little bit of it. I hope you like ASMR. God, I need this. I won't be long. So good. It sucks because every time the stream dies, I gotta start a new one on YouTube and then I leak viewers. It's like, come on, fuck. We got good shit to go over still. If I was observing Ramadan this year, I'd be highly jealous. I need food so bad. I've been taking this diet way too seriously. Okay. You look at this, look. This guy does what Jovan Bradley does too. Parker.
$5 on Venmo, and Richard with the $5 on Venmo. Then from 16 minutes ago, Drew and Brittany with the $10 each over on Venmo. Thank you so much. That is literally so incredibly kind of you guys. I'm so grateful for each and every single one of you. And then I'd also like to thank Emily and Victoria for the $20 each over on PayPal. Huge shout out to Emily.
Y'all, my
and
live will
start
here alone. It would just be with me.
Kind.
Dean's probably about to be getting off like right now.
Anyway, yeah. I think it's a good formula. Okay, content. We have content. We have content for days, boys. Okay?
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here. So a lot of people are looking.
So fucking good. A little more. One sec, let me find something.
You know me, the fighting freak Knuckles, and we're at Pumpkin Hill. You ready? I ain't gonna let it get to me. I'm just gonna creep down in Pumpkin Hill. I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here. I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I'm gonna hold my head, cause I have no fear. This probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. Our ghosts try to approach me and got leery. Ask him a question and he vanished in a second. I'm walking through valleys, crying pumpkins in the alley.
I'm gonna fix the lights real quick and we'll get going with the segment, so stick around.
Back 'em up with a fist metal crackle. I'm hearing someone saying you a chicken, don't be scared. It had to be the wind, cause nobody wasn't there. I searched and
I also gotta charge my phone. Hold on.
and then I started to fly. I went in deeper. Let it get to me. I'm just gonna creep down Pumpkin Hill. I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here. I sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere.
That's so drippy, thank you.
I have no fear.
All right, let's do this. Who has heard of Rev Says Desu? Anybody? Anybody in chat, perhaps? Do we have any knowers in chat? Anybody in the loop on Rev Says Desu? I've never covered Rev Says Desu before, so I thought that this would be a good opportunity because they made a pretty good video. Well, I don't know if it's good or not. I just know that it's good for me to cover, right? It's slop, right? We love our slop content here. So I'm feeding the hogs today. You get your slop. Here you go. So I want to give it a little preface before this. The way that I found, I guess, refound Rev Says Desu, I knew about them, but not, like, specifically. I just knew that he was kind of a weirdo. He's in a bit of a spat with this person named Yara VT. If you don't know Yara VT, by the way, let me shield her a little bit. One sec. Because I just subscribed to her. If you're a big VTube person, which I'm not, but she seems pretty progressive and cool. You know, anti-trans groups won't divide the LGBTQ plus community. The real trans regret is not transitioning sooner. I mean, great shit, right? So if you're trans and you like VTubers or you just support trans rights and like VTubers, perfect fit for you, right? Nyara VT herself is trans. She's working, I know I've seen a few posts about her working on her voice. You're doing great, Queen. Keep it up. Excuse me. Keep it up. But anyway, they got into a bit of a spat on Twitter because Nyara said, "Hey Rev, can a kid be transgender?" Rev replies, "All you're describing is a grooming victim. All you're describing a grooming victim. And since I answered your question, can you finally answer mine? Yara, can kids consent? Algorithm for determining the consent procedure for the treatment of young persons diagnosed with gender dysphoria as per Ray Imogen, 2020. I've never heard of this before this. So interesting and informative stuff here. Gender dysphoria diagnosed and treatment medically indicated. Is the young person Gillick competent? Now, I've never heard of Gillick competence before, so let me look that up real quick. What is Gillick competence? Let's see. Consent is the legal expression of the moral principle of autonomy. It underpins the propriety of the treatment and furnishes a defense to the crime of battery and civil wrong of trespass. It must be obtained before an immunization can proceed. Children and the law of consent. The United States Convention of Children's Rights defines a child as any person under 18. However, by convention, British courts refers to all persons under 18 as minors, those under 16 as children, and 16 and 17-year-olds as young persons. Blah, 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 blah. The key principle is reflected in consent law applied to children. Kennedy and Grubb, 1998, argue that children pass through 3 developmental stages on the journey to becoming autonomous adult. The child of tender years who rely on a person with parental responsibility to consent to treatment. The Gillick competent child under 16. Young persons 16 and 17 years old who are able to consent to treatment as if they were of full age. The Gillick competent child. The right of a child under 16 to consent to medical examination and treatment, including immunization, was decided by the House of Lords in Gillick versus West Norfolk and Wisbeck, AHA, 1986, or a mother of girls under 16 objected to the Department of Health advice that allowed doctors to give contraceptive advice and treatment to children without parental consent. Their lordships held that a child under 16 had the legal competence to consent to medical examination and treatment if they had sufficient maturity and intelligence to understand the nature and implications of that treatment. So, this might just be a Britmonger thing, I don't know, but I've never heard of Gillick competence before. I do like the standard, though, that there are certain age ranges in which certain children can consent to certain medical procedures. Here's the problem with what Rev Says Desu is doing. He is purposefully conflating medical consent with consent for sex. Because when we talk about consent and we talk about children not being able to give consent, the first thing that comes to mind is children cannot consent to sex, right? That's just the first thing that comes to mind. Obviously, children cannot consent to that until they're 18 years of age, arguably older. Now, the reason that this is often conflated is for transphobes, right? To say, oh, look, trans people and allies of trans people think that children can consent. Consent to what, motherfucker? As I said, to what? To go to school, to take antibiotics? What consent are you referring to? It's a very disgusting wordplay that they like to engage in. As he says here, I have asked you countless times whether or not you think kids can consent. You refuse to answer. As it turns out, kids can consent to medical treatment of certain types at certain ages, okay? Some people go by the Gillett competence. I don't know what it is here in the United States of America specifically. I know that there are standards. I'd have to look into those more myself, but there are points at which children can, in fact, consent to medical care. Take, for instance, birth control. Let me look this up real quick. Minors' access to contraceptive services from Guttmacher. Guttmacher? I don't know. The information provided on this website is not intended to, does not blah, 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 blah. Over the past 30 years, states have expanded minors' authority to consent to health care, including care related to sexual activity. This trend reflects the 1977 U.S. Supreme Court ruling in Carey versus Population Services International that affirmed the constitutional right to privacy for a minor to obtain contraceptives in all states. It also reflects the recognition that while parental involvement is desirable, many minors will remain sexually active but not seek services if they have to tell their parents. It's almost as though religious fundamentalism makes shit worse. Who would have thought? As a result, confidentiality is vital to ensuring minors' access to contraceptive services. Even when a state has no relevant policy or case law or an explicit limitation, physicians may commonly provide medical care to a mature minor without parental consent, particularly if the state allows a minor to consent to related healthcare services. So, as I said, yes, sometimes a child can consent to treatment. If they're old enough, if they're mature enough, depending on the treatment type, yes, they can. They can, Rev. Okay? Not to sex, to medicine. But you're purposefully conflating those. Why? Interesting. I would also like to point out, it's very dangerous to conflate these two things. What does that imply about what you think about, like, if children couldn't consent to medical care at all and we treated it exactly the same as we treated sexual acts, we wouldn't even give vaccines to infants. That would be seen as abuse, okay? But we do give vaccines to infants because we're not a barbarian society. We're not fucking IQ of 30, okay? Because vaccines for infants are good, even if they can't consent to them. They're still good, okay? Like, I'm in favor of giving vaccines to infants. I don't give a shit if they can consent to them or not, honestly. Like, that's fine. As far as consent goes for medical treatments, like I said, at certain ages, I mean, we're just going to run the gamut again. You guys get the idea. Anyway, this is all to preface the video, which has nothing to do with any of that. But I just wanted to give you guys a little idea of how I found out this person exists once again. He decides to talk about Severus Snape race swap rejected by Harry Potter fans promised faithful adaptation. So if for those who don't know, there's a new adaptation of Harry Potter coming out and they're casting a whole new crew. Some people are protesting the casting, like they're like people who because of J.K. Rowling and her stance on trans issues. There's a lot of controversy surrounding it. I don't personally get involved in any of that. I completely understand the side that says, like, if you get involved, then you're basically supporting J.K. Rowling. Like, yeah, like, if you're an actor and you're well off, like, you know, I don't think you should support this project. Just don't be involved. I mean, I don't think any of the original cast is. What string of words did I just hear? Oh, Severus Snape is race swapped. So they decided to cast and by the way, this is related, by the way. I just want you guys to know. Because it turns out, when you're a transphobe, you attract the most racist, fucking disgusting pieces of shit imaginable. Isn't that weird? Right? So they cast Snape as a black guy, and everybody who is stupid, I guess, who actually cares about, I don't really care. Like, I don't give a shit about it. But anybody who's paying attention about it is raving mad about it because they're all a bunch of fucking racists. But let's take a look.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So a lot of people are looking forward to the Harry Potter TV series that's coming to
It was not crucial to Severus Snape's character that he was white in any way whatsoever.
HBO in 2026. And as with any other Harry Potter product, you have a lot of fans with very high expectations, which are quite frankly deserved. And then you also have a lot of usual suspects on places like Twitter who scream and cry anytime something Harry Potter related is created because they think it's going to help out J.K. Rowling. Whether she's actually involved or not doesn't really matter to them. But this series is definitely being pitched, at least in the beginning, to the long-term fans of the franchise.
It's still her property. She still owns the copyright. Yeah. She makes money off of it. What? Yeah.
In fact, over at HBO, their chairman and CEO assured fans that this would be a faithful adaptation. Now, when you say those words, you are creating a very high expectation because people.
Did you say faithful expectation? Faithful adaptation? It can still be faithful if the race of the person doesn't fucking matter. What if they cast a German guy the first time, and then they got an Irish guy the second time? Would you still be throwing a hissy fit even though it's not technically adapted the same way? Like, shut the fuck up.
People are tired of beloved franchises having their source material stomped on and vandalized for a modern reboot or new show based on it. And right here, they created the expectation, so they better not mess up. And you know what? They already did. This pretty much speaks for itself right here. Papa Isiedo, did not pronounce that right, my apologies, has now been cast as Severus Snape in the Harry Potter series. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing double. I mean, which one is the real Snape? I can't even tell right now. They look...
Obviously, they look fucking different, man. Okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, look at the One Piece live action adaptation. I know that's not one-to-one comparison because One Piece is an animated cartoon and the live action adaptation, of course, is live action. But, like, they tried to make those characters look like their source material and they didn't always succeed. Like, Usopp has a lot darker skin than the source material. You know? But I think that's fine. And the audience didn't give a shit because Usopp was great. Okay? Nobody cares.
So close. Yeah, this is obviously ridiculous, and people are
If it's the same universe, they should cast similar looking characters to enhance immersion. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not taken out of the immersion at all. Okay, let's put it this way. In the book, I don't think they said anything about Snape's skin color. Maybe they did. If they did, feel free to prove me wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, I don't think they said anything about Snape's skin color. And if they did, I forgot. Okay. Like, you literally make, and a lot of people who first read the book thought that Hermione Granger was black because of the way that they described her hair. Like, literally, like a lot of people thought that Hermione was black before they made the live action adaptation. Okay. So it doesn't fucking matter. Just, like, unless the skin color is crucial to what happens in the movie, who gives a shit?
Absolutely fed up with this because this is not just some virtue signaling campaign here. It goes even further. I mean, it's literally destroying canon. It's rewriting a...
Listen, if he can point to where... First of all, I don't think his skin color, even if they do point it out in the book, did it ever come up? Ever? Like, was it ever a point to be like, yeah, Snape's white skin is a crucial plot development in this particular part of this book? It just doesn't. It doesn't. I read all of the books. Long time ago, granted, but I read all of them. And I don't remember anything like that. Nothing. Book to movie casting changes are fine. Live action to live action recasting changes like this are a bit drastic. Disagree, Soy Division. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. Just explain to me why you care. Like, I don't get it.
Character and going against everything it's been described as for, at this point, decades, right? There's very obvious points to to make here. But as you can see, these accounts are always cowards. Like the Discussing Film account and Culture Crave, all of these basically soy boys, they hide every comment that's negative about the films they are trying to promote. I mean, why are you hiding stuff like this?
She's one black actor casted, and the show is dead. Fuck you guys.
People disagree with this choice. And for good reason. As I'll point out, the most basic reasoning here is the way that Snape is described. A thin man with sallow skin, a large hooked nose, and yellow uneven teeth. So a pale, white dude who is ugly, for lack of a better way of describing it, right? And you can see the old sketches by J.K. Rowling herself.
It just doesn't come up, man. It just doesn't come up. Like, who cares? Why do you care so much? Are you a Harry Potter fanboy? Like, did you follow Harry Potter your entire life? Like, okay, listen. If that's how you always pictured him, then I can see why you'd be like a little disgruntled and a little bit like, well, that wasn't exactly how I was picturing him to look. But like, that's as far as it goes, man. This is so silly. You made a 10-minute ass video about this? How pathetic.
And she also clarified in a different sketch saying that Snape is often confused with
I'm ready for Black Hitler and non-white Jesus. Source material be damned.
Bro. Blitler. Thank you very much, Shakatunagi, for another 5 tier 1 gifted show.
Count Dracula, mainly due to his appearance and light skin and all of that sort of stuff. So that obviously shows that this character was intended to be played by someone with pale skin. I think that is something that is very obvious, but not too obvious to everyone. You can see Paul Tassi here, a games journalist, saying, I feel like it's kind of a key thing that Snape is not supposed to be super traditionally handsome. And he's right. Snape is not supposed to be traditionally handsome. But they're leaving out the most obvious.
But what's the point here? Are they woke? Like, are they doing like white racism? Like, what's the point here? Why are you making this video? Why does this matter? Why does it matter? Are they erasing white people? Okay. Are you trying to preserve a future for your white children? Is that what it is? Just come on, just hit me with it. Let's go.
This thing that everyone already noticed, but he's too afraid to say. It's that Snape is not supposed to be black. I don't think that's a controversial thing to say, but when you're someone like Paul Tassi and you play into wokeism and political correctness, you can't even say the objective and clear reality right in front of you because you're afraid of upsetting the narrative and having your constituents mad at you. But isn't it great to break away from those things and be able to actually say your thoughts and feelings on something that is so obvious to everyone else? Yeah, this is a trap you don't want to end up in. But a lot of people made their observations about this.
This is the fan base you built, JK. Okay, Joanne? This is the fan base you fucking built. I hope you're happy with it. You could have had a thriving fucking book career with a 1 in a million franchise that excels beyond the annals of history. You know? Like, truly just a masterpiece filled with anti-Semitism, but nonetheless a masterpiece that drove children for generations to wonder and to dream and to think about magic and believe in magic. But no, let's just go be transphobic. Nothing bad could ever happen if I do that, right? Guess what? Now your fan base is filled with a bunch of fucking bigots, okay? Congratulations, you built a pile of shit.
Tweets going viral left and right.
Enjoy
463,000 likes on this tweet
dumb
saying,
bitch.
I can't wait for the flashback that shows Harry's dad bullying a black kid for being poor and unattractive. Yeah, I don't think that's going to really work out the way that they intended. Also in those...
1 sec, I gotta make sure I don't stain my shirt. Okay, good as new. Imagine caring this much about Harry Potter. I'd be fine if you care this much about Harry Potter. That's fine. People love Harry Potter. Let them. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter that J.K. Rowling's a fucking transphobe now. Like, some people just grew up with Harry Potter, and I watched Harry Potter over Christmas break, the movies, okay? They're great movies. They're good for what they are. They're good. They're fine, okay? Harry Potter's a great franchise, and people should enjoy it if they like it. But, you know, like not like this. I'm sorry that, like, you didn't get your white Snape. Who gives a shit, man? Who cares?
Those scenes, if my memory serves.
I don't know why the voice didn't go off. For a subpar writer, the transphobic heel turn is wild, considering the plot of book 2 revolved around boys going to a girl's bathroom to brew a potion. I know, right? Like, literally, it's like the boys were like, how many interactions did Harry Potter have with Moaning Myrtle through the whole story? Like, a lot, right? Like constant. Moaning Myrtle was confined to the girl's bathroom.
Fame, power. For a subpar writer, the transphobic heel turn is wild, considering the plot of book 2 revolved around boys going into a girl's bathroom to brew a potion.
Yeah, and it goes beyond book 2. Like I said, like, Moaning Myrtle was a recurring character that Harry Potter regularly interacted with, and she was confined to the women's bathroom for life, or for eternity, or whatever. Like, she's bound there, magically. So the only explanation is that Harry went into the fucking girl's bathroom. Good job, Joanne.
Snape is would be the only black person too, which makes this an even more extreme set of events here. And also people point out that there is a flashback.
You're right, they should all be black. Make Harry Potter black too, actually.
Flashback scene where Harry's dad hangs Snape. He uses his magic to lift him upside down.
Okay, that's kind of funny. That's a little fucked up and a little funny. I'm not gonna lie. You can't deny.
And that's hang him from a tree. Okay, by swapping out this actor, Rickman, with a black man, that's gonna be a real awkward scene. I don't think that's something that any of these related parties.
You know, I'll give him that. Okay, that's not wrong.
Scape there. But anyways, other people made similar observations saying this. Snape's whole storyline is about his weird, obsessive, unrequited love for a white woman and resentment towards her white husband and son. Unless the Potters are all gonna be black too, it feels a bit uncomfortable to cast.
Hold up. Snape's whole storyline is about his weird, obsessive, unrequited love for a white woman and resentment towards her. Huh? But how does him being black change that? It feels a bit uncomfortable to cast a black actor in that. Okay, this person's like, okay, hold on. I understand where. Okay, let me connect the dots for those of you who aren't getting this. Basically, what he's trying to get at, this person, is that, like, black men coming after white women or being jealous over, like, white men and their women is like a historical, you know, like I get where he's coming. Like, that's a negative stereotype, right? That black men are coming after white women. But, like, just be normal about it. Like, I don't, like, I just, like, I see it, but, like, I wouldn't have thought about it if you hadn't brought it up, honestly. Maybe that's just my white privilege talking. Who knows? Like, maybe there are legitimate problems here. But, like, you know, we talked about the hanging scene. That's a little weird. But, like, on its face, like, I don't know. It just seems like it's being blown out of the water. Like, I don't. Why make a video about it? It doesn't matter that much.
Cast a black actor in that role. Another very fair point made there.
You know what it seems like? That seems like one of those things that, like, a super leftist would bring up. You know what I mean? Like a white leftist, like super far to the left. who's like, well, this is problematic, Sweaty, because you're feeding into the stereotype that like black women try to steal white women away from white men, and that's kind of cringe, Sweaty. And it's like nobody thought about that till you brought it up, dude. Nobody.
And here's another reaction this person's saying: with the impact that Alan Rickman had on a generation of fans as Severus Snape, whoever was chosen for this role was gonna have a hard time. It's always hard being the guy after the guy. For them to go this direction, though, I hope my guy has tough skin. I am sending you positive vibes, and I hope you crush that shit, bro. I will be watching this for sure.
I agree.
So, yes, two very fair points here. Number one, having to follow up Alan Rickman and his portrayal of Snape, that's already a very daunting task. Then you add this into it, another layer where people are basically...
You are literally the person adding that, man. You and your ilk are the ones adding that, okay? Nobody's doing that but you. You are making it a problem. You made an entire ass 10-minute video about it. That's pathetic. It wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem if it weren't for people like you pointing it out, okay? Just let it go.
Criticizing your casting based on something that really shouldn't.
Oh, it's not me. It's just like people.
First place.
Fuck
if
off.
They had done a proper casting of this character. They basically dragged him into this. Yeah. Of course, this actor accepted this voluntarily. He didn't have to accept this role, but I feel like HBO is quite literally throwing this guy to the wolves by hiring him for Snape. He is now out there getting blasted by pretty much everyone on social media,
including you.
And yeah. Who would have not seen that coming? It was the most obvious reaction. Clearly, people were not going to be thrilled about this casting choice, and they were going to make the very...
Exactly. You're saying they're right. In the same fucking breath, you say that those people are correct in their assessment, and you're trying to say, well, I feel sorry for them. Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
Very obvious criticisms of this choice. But let's move on here.
Very obvious criticisms.
The casting of Papa Essiedu, again, not even close on the pronunciation, my bad, as Severus Snape is blatant DEI nonsense, and America is beyond over it. Every single Harry Potter fan wanted Adam Driver. Hollywood is actively committing...
It's DEI nonsense because he's black, right? Just say it. It's because he's black. They want to say the N-word so badly, they just say DEI instead. It's the diet N-word.
Gay men to spite its audience. I mean, have you seen the Oscars recently that was premiered about a week ago? I mean, it's an absolute slop fest. They are literally going down with the ship. Hollywood does not care. They are literally never going to listen to what the average person thinks or feels. They're not going to go with...
And the average person wants white people. They want white people. Unless the character gets killed in a heroic sacrifice, then that character can be black. But otherwise, they have to be white people.
Power. This change will cause chaos as they'll have to include a minstrel show to provide context.
Thank you very much, Socket, for another 5-1 gifted subs. Appreciate you all.
The change of the wind here and how people are done with DEI and all this virtue signaling nonsense. They are literally driving themselves into the ground. They are literally crashing the ship into the iceberg, and they don't care because they don't want to change their ways or admit that they're...
All I have to say is, J.K. Rowling, you get what you fucking deserve. Okay? You fucked around with transphobia, and you found out with fascists. Wow, who would have thought? You built up an audience of queer people all over the planet, and then you say, fuck you! Fuck you, queer people, I hate you now. Fuck you, I hate you now. And then you're left with only the fascists. And look... They hate your black character. Wow. What a surprise.
Out of touch. And this is just another example of that. And also, very good point about Adam Driver. A lot of people brought that up. He was pretty much tailor-made for this role, which unfortunately comes with a connotation. You can play an ugly character, but I think that's something that's more of a compliment.
Isn't Adam Driver, like, based and he wouldn't, like, do it anyway? Like, I could be wrong about this, but I thought Adam Driver was, like, the kind of guy who would be like, no, I don't fuck with transphobia, and I wouldn't be in a JKR production. How do we get them to blame J.K. Rowling instead of HBO? You don't. You don't. They're going to blame the fucking Jews is what it is.
Compliment as to what you can achieve with a character. Poor poor Rickman. I mean, he was catching those strays for it all the time, but he was a fantastic actor for sure. And again, big shoes to fill, but like this would have been a fantastic choice overall.
Because
but
he's white.
Looking at some of the reactions, you knew there'd be some. I would say 99% of reactions to this are negative. They're calling out the cast,
including yours.
They think it's stupid. Okay, kind of refreshing to be honest with you. I think this is something.
I'm not adding to the pile, guys, at all. I'm just commentating on it. You know, I'm just a little birthday boy or girl, I guess, a tiny little girl that's kind of creepy, honestly. But, you know, I'm not adding to this at all. I'm not throwing fuel on the fucking fire or anything.
Pretty much everyone, no matter what spectrum on any sort of political compass or anything like that you fall on, I think anyone looking at this objectively just goes, yeah, this is a stupid casting choice. It makes absolutely no sense. And it's basically vandalizing the
Y'all haven't even fucking seen him do it.
As expressed by J.K. Rowling. But anyways,
why don't you wait for the fucking trailer to drop or something and see him in it and just like taste test it. You know, just like give it a chance. Who cares? I feel like I say this over and over again, but like, who fucking cares, man? Really? Like, okay, listen. Here, let me pull something up. Let me make sure that I really drive in that this is just about the fucking race of the actor and not like being loyal to the whatever the fuck, okay? Let me just really drive this in.
Wealth, fame, power.
They couldn't have gone with Driver, as then they'd have to include a John Oliver stand-in to thirst post about him for 50% of the movie for context.
Is John Oliver a Adam Driver thirst poster? I didn't know that. Thank you for another 5-1 gifted subs, by the way. You're being very generous tonight. Hold on. I know I can pull it up. Hold on, sorry. Can you not do that? What? I hate news stations or news articles. I hate them so much. They never, fucking news companies never let you read their fucking shit anymore. It doesn't make any sense. Sign up for free with your email. No. No thanks. Below ads. No. Find it somewhere else. Fuck you. Sorry, I know I'm taking a minute. Hold on. Here we go. John Boyega on racist fan abuse, marginalization that marred Star Wars experience. What I would say to Disney is do not bring out a black character, market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It's not good. I agree with that. Can you... I hate it. I hate it. The internet fucking sucks. John Boyega discussed the marginalization and difficulties he experienced while working on Star Wars in an interview with British GQ. The piece marked his first major conversation about the films since the franchise's main saga wrapped last year with The Rise of Skywalker. Boyega didn't downplay the opportunity and career boost playing Finn, the stormtrooper turned rebel hero, provided, but was upfront about how fraught his involvement with the franchise was from the start. News of his casting in 2015's The Force Awakens elicited a blatantly racist backlash from some Star Wars fans, and he described how that abuse lingered and spurred his recent turn toward activism. Watch Trevor Noah blast racist protesting new Star Wars film. I can't watch Trevor Noah. That will get copyrighted for sure. But yeah, suffice it to say, you can read through the rest of this article if you want. It doesn't matter if they're replacing a white character or not. It doesn't matter. Literally a brand new part of the series set in the future with new characters, new drama, new action, new whatever. And they were still fucking racist, man. Wow. Brand new fucking character who just happens to be black and people still didn't like it. Isn't that wild? Like, that's, I mean, wow. You know? It's like it never fucking ends. It just happens to be a convenient excuse this time that Severus Snape was supposed to be white or something, I guess. It's not important. It's not fucking, like, prove to me that that is an important element of his character. Prove it to me. Prove it.
You have a person.
I would even venture to say as much as this. Snow White, I have made a video about the new Snow White being a Latina person, right? And you could make a better argument for Snow White who's supposed to be white. You can make a better argument for that. I still think it's dumb as shit to worry about it, but you could still make a better argument for it, than this. This is so stupid.
Like this saying, hard disagree. Snape needs to be ugly and white because he is the perfect definition of a sore loser incel. Plus, the fandom is racist as hell, and HBO won't protect him. Well, they were kind of right for a second, but then, of course, you can see this person is seething about the incels online, which I'm sure is just everyone who disagrees with whatever this person is trying to spout online. But also, we have another example, like I said earlier, Culture Crave is another party that always is hiding comments, so you know you got to check them out. They did their engagement bait here. They got in on this with the copy pasta tweet of the news that everyone else has already reported on, and then they hit a bunch of stuff, including someone saying woke nonsense, cancel, and then
why is it woke? Explain it to me. Why is it woke? Explain it.
They left this poll.
Explain
they actually
the woke.
hid this poll where someone said excited, and 77% of people said no. Only 7.5% said yes. That's not very good, especially on a big shill account like this. That's not a very good look. Small sample size, of course. But still, I don't think people are too excited about this. I think people were very apprehensive. And then we saw HBO come out through their chairman and say, look, guys, it'll be okay. Long-term fans of the franchise, we got you. It's going to be a faithful adaptation. And guess what? Turns out that's not the case already. We're not even seeing the actual story playing out or actual scenes or anything.
Literal fucking toddlers. You're toddlers, man. And not even just your avatar, which again is kind of creepy. But you're just fucking toddlers. Okay? Like, why do you care? Move on.
Thing like
Get
that.
over it.
We're just seeing the casting choices, okay? They're fumbling already just with the casting choices alone. That is a very bad sign and basically signals that there's going to be a lot of trouble coming this way with this project here. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your...
Jesus Christ. I do think that it was relevant to bring up the transphobia in the beginning because, again, you know, when you have one type of bigotry, it always leads to another, right? If you're transphobic, you're way more likely to also be racist. And, you know, there you go. So, I think that's it. Dubsy, cut it off when I said there you go. Well, that was fun. He didn't respond to me on Twitter, so I figured maybe I'll make a YouTube video covering his shit, and then maybe he'll, you know. Who knows? Back when I watched Xander Hall, I know that he covered this guy a lot. Oh, God. It's been a minute since I've been this full. Right? The same motherfuckers will clap like shields for Jesus being white. True. No shit. Good point. Why is this dude wearing a 4-year-old goth doll as a costume? I'll give you one guess. Yeah, I'd rather not either. If gender is biological, why is Optimus Prime male? Good question. Yeah, why were... Okay, so what's so funny, right, is they were so mad about that one but non-binary transformer, and it's like, motherfucker, if you're consistent, they're all non-binary. They're machines. They're alien machines. They don't have biology. They have machine parts. They're contraptions. They're things with consci because they are fictional characters. And in fiction, machines can be alive, but not in reality. At least yet. Honestly, like, I'm sorry, this is such an ADHD segue, but like, I don't even know if I would believe that a machine is alive if we were living like 5,000 years in the future and you told me, and you reassured me that it was. I don't know if I could believe it. Like, I used to think, oh yeah, if robots ever were a thing, I would totally be tolerant of them. But these days, I'm like looking at AI and all of these disgusting attempts to like recreate humanity, and I'm like, it's not. I don't see myself in it. I see nothing. I'm robophobic. Well, I'm glad stream's been working the third time around. Alec Hunter will make your day. Okay, we got that. Sounds good, guitar rocker. Okay, I need you guys' opinion.
They showed me a trend on TikTok.
There's this guy named Dr. Deconstruction who only has 29 subscribers, and this video has 235 views. Should I go over this? Like, I want to? No. I want to. I want to know what's going on. But I also don't want to give unnecessary attention to people who, like, are just nobodies. No? Okay. Yes, I have a yes. Here's my thinking, right? Like, if I... go over it on stream? What, without recording it? I'll do that for debates, but like, I feel like it's just a waste of time if I do that right now. Don't make a segment on it if it's not good. Should I base it on that? Just go over it and then like see if it's good or not? I can't really tell what the video is about. He's talking about I guess there's a Republican makeup trend on TikTok that he's getting upset about because, like, there are girls that put on makeup as though they were Republicans, and he's getting very upsetty spaghetti about it. It's just petty to go after someone with this little subs, but it could be so fun. Unless they're making a point that's clearly wrong and they're getting attention, I don't think it's worth getting more eyeballs on it. Okay, hold on. Let me see something. He only has 2 videos. I can't justify doing it. I can't. He'll thrive off the negative attention. We gotta let him die out. I can't justify doing it. We gotta let it die. I say let it die. Let it die, let it die. Let it shrivel up and die. One second. There's new juice box submissions. Hold up. Hayden Rodea thinks mass deportations will boost the American economy. I don't know if I have the mental fortitude right now for an 18-minute video in which I will definitely need to look up sources. Lavender. I haven't gone over Lavender in forever. Hello, June 3 Boo 99. Welcome. He's most likely just another hate grifter, and all attention is positive for them. Because the algorithm doesn't care why people are watching. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, that's how I want to show you guys something. My early content was built off of the hatred of conservatives. It's crazy. In fact, I think it'd be easier to sort by oldest at this point. This is my really old content. This is all. Don't look at this. This doesn't exist. This doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. Now it starts existing. Okay, Yeah, we're going way back. The first time a video of mine really took off was, was it really this one? No, I don't think it was this one. The first one I remember taking off was, yes, this one. Only 50 dislikes? I thought it'd have way more than that. Oh, fuck. I lost my place. Whatever. You guys get the idea. My early content was built off of hate. It's Junebug, but spelled weird? Oh, got it. Thank you, I appreciate you. Keffel's content? Listen, Keffels used to be cool, and then she wasn't. I used to really respect her. I knew her before she got huge. She was just like a little guy, or a little girl, I should say, sorry. She was just like a little girl, like, or non-binary back then. It keeps, I don't know. I keep being transphobic, sorry. But back then she was non-binary, and she only had like 60 viewers on her stream, and I got on one time to talk about diabetes when she was doing a diabetes fundraiser. Like, she used to be really cool, and it just sucks that she went the direction she did. She followed me before she got huge. No, I know I was a big Kevils fan, was even on the Patreon. It's so sad. I like that you have a medical background. That's how I found you, because you were commenting on something from that perspective. Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, I feel that it helps. It definitely helps, especially when I'm debating, like, trans stuff. Because whether you like it or not, trans care often involves, like, medicine, so. I really wish we still had a loud and proud trans advocate like her, without all the other shit. I mean, you got me, but I know what you mean. Like, a trans person who is a trans advocate. I got you. Like, I was so, like, about her, and I defended her for, honestly, longer than I should have, and I was just disappointed by the end of it. You know, it just sucked ass. I believed in her, man. I really did, and she let me down. Sucks to suck. You know, and that's not to say she can't be redeemed one day, but, like, she does need to answer for her shit. Yeah, Dead Domain is great. Dead Domain, I think, is taking that place quite well. I do think that Dead Domain does not quite fill the void of memery that Keffels had. Keffels was definitely a memer. And a goofy person. And I don't think Dead Domain is quite nearly as goofy. I could be wrong. I don't watch Dead Domain on a regular basis, but I don't think they're quite there. Anyway, let's get at least one more in here. This one is from the Discord's Juice Box. If you would like to recommend content for me to go over on stream, you can do so by joining my Discord server using the link in the description. Or Dubsy likes to put a nice little QR code on the screen that you can use your phone to get into my Discord server, and then leave your content suggestions in the Juice Box channel. This one was titled, by the person who posted it, Conservative Copes How Authoritarianism Actually Means Freedom, and the video itself is titled, He Who Saves His Country Does Not Violate Any Law, by Ace1918. Now, I saw this person, I think, on Twitter recently. I forget in what context, but he seems like an interesting lad. His other video, here, let me just open his channel real quick so we can get an idea of what we're working with here. A channel dedicated to free speech, nerd culture, video game history, and history in general. Sounds fine. Oh yeah, he does a lot of short fat otaku content. I don't know what's up with it. Like, I forget who short fat otaku is. I know that he's like kind of cringe, I think. But he seems obsessed with that guy. So all of his videos look kind of boring. What's this? Cow pie, son of cow cow? What is, like, I don't even...
I am Cow P. Like my father, Cow Cow, I too have ambitions for ruling the land. After all, it is my duty to carry out
Dynasty
his legacy.
Warriors 5.
First, we must exterminate Yuan Shao. Such a
Is this it? Is it just like from a video game? I mean, no shade. I don't understand. Like, it seems weird to mix that in with, like, what is supposedly, I haven't watched it yet, but a blatant defense of fascism. It just seems like an odd mixture. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, let's get started with this. He who saves his country does not violate any law.
He who saves...
Which is completely wrong, by the way, because the people who ran the Underground Railroad, who saved the population of this nation that was bound by the chains of slavery, the literal chains of slavery, they broke plenty of laws, okay? Law has nothing to do with morality, okay? Necessarily. I think it should, but not necessarily. Slavery was the law of the land at one point. They broke the laws. They saved a huge population of this fucking country.
saves his country does not violate
of course Donald
any
Trump said
law. This was tweeted on February the 15th of 2025 by U.S. President.
So the reason that so this gives us context. So the reason that Donald Trump said this is probably because he doesn't feel like he can do any wrong. So whatever he does is like he's just above the law. He's calling himself a king at this point.
Donald J. Trump. And has been at the very core of the latest faux controversy surrounding Trump, thanks very specifically to the efforts of the Never Trumper crowd, who are trying to use this quote in an effort to paint Trump as somehow being an authoritarian. That the quote itself fundamentally...
It's not like he literally is trying to, like, deport a fucking Palestine protester for the crime of doing free speech or anything, right? No, not like he would never do that. He'd never, crack down on free speech like that, or absolve like criminals who agree with him of crimes that they committed against the Capitol on a certain January 6th or anything like that. No, that's not him. That's not him. He doesn't do that.
And exclusively promotes authoritarianism, and that Trump is the worst of tyrants for daring to make said quote. But is this actually true?
It's not just the quote that's the problem. First of all, if Barack Obama tweeted this, people like this guy would be up in arms over it. They'd be calling him a fucking jihadist or something. Like, there'd be no silencing them. I personally would find it problematic if Barack Obama posted this. But the thing is, Donald Trump, when you combine this quote with his fucking actions in office, yeah, that kind of makes him an authoritarian. Yeah.
Does this quote mean that Trump is literally Hitler? Well, no, of course
I
it
did
doesn't.
see that, Merlin.
In reality, while it is true that this quote could accurately describe authoritarian regimes and their rise to power, including ignoring the established laws of the land, it is also worth pointing out that this exact same quote would just as accurately describe George Washington, Mahatma Gandhi, or Jesus Christ. Men who were in a
I don't think... What do you mean accurately describe? This quote doesn't describe anybody. It just is a concept. If you think that you are saving your country, then there's no way that you can violate any law while doing so, which I think is stupid anyway. Like, if you're trying to save your country and your country is bound by laws that disenfranchise the people, you're going to have to, by virtue, break those fucking laws. Like, just look at Star Wars, right? The rebels were breaking laws all over the place. And guess what? They saved the galaxy because the Empire was a horrific, tyrannical force. They broke laws all the fucking time. There's no, like, if you're serious about saving the country from a tyrannical power, then you don't give a shit about the law. It doesn't matter. Andor was exceptionally good. Yeah, law? What are you, a fucking liberal?
A lot of ways, the exact opposite of tyrants. But let's move on into how this phrase could just as equally describe either or. Either tyrants or outright anti-tyrants. For what it's worth, it is of note that the origin of the phrase itself is often attributed to Napoleon Bonaparte, though there...
At best, I would say that somebody who says this doesn't understand what law is and how they can be... what's the word? They can be, God damn it, I can't think of the word. Oppressive.
There is no actual documentation confirming that he ever actually said this. That said, it is fair to say that Napoleon did, in fact, embrace the meaning of this quote, even if he was not.
Napoleon was not a good person. I'm not a history buff, but, like, wasn't Napoleon kind of a piece of shit? Right? Like, he's not looked back upon fondly. There's a reason that we call it Napoleon complex. If Napoleon was a good dude, we wouldn't use the term Napoleon complex to describe people negatively. He thought very highly of himself. He thought he was a fucking Lord Emperor or something. Motherfucker was banished twice. Imagine being banished twice. By, like, that's Columbus level shit. Like, being banished, being reprimanded by the fucking European, not colonies, European states back then. The European states were terrible. All, like, ruled by awful, awful people. Disgusting cretins. If they thought you were doing shit wrong, I'm sorry. Like, that's another level.
Not necessarily the one who coined it. And that does move us quite nicely along
He
to
reinstated
the actual
slavery.
meaning
Well,
of
there
the
you go.
quote. The idea that it may become necessary to circumvent usual legal proceedings in order to save a nation. George Washington himself did this by commanding the armed forces.
Yes, and that's called breaking the fucking law, man. So you are violating the law. I'm not against the idea that you can save a country by violating the very laws that entrap the people in it. Okay? Very often, in fact, more often than not, the law is very restrictive. What's the quote? Hold on. There's a great quote that I want to pull up. Fucking the Libertarian Party of Texas tweets it all the time. I know, Libertarian. Just get over it. He's mostly cool. Here it is. From Francis M. Wilhoit. Conservatism consists of exactly one proposition, to wit. There must be in-groups whom the law protects but does not bind, alongside out-groups who the law binds but does not protect. Okay? If you are trying to save a conservative nation, you will by nature break their laws. That's just how that works, man. If you are the law, you can't break it because you are the law. You determine what the law is, and right now Donald Trump is the law. It doesn't fucking matter what he does because he can get away with it now. He can absolve himself. He can absolve anybody he likes. He's above the law. So there's no concept of him currently breaking the law. It doesn't exist.
Forces of a revolution against a government that had become foreign and no longer representative of those they reigned over a full ocean away. It is also of note that after that aforementioned revolution, George Washington would also serve as part of a government that would ultimately abandon
Guess what? George Washington broke fucking British law, man.
and replace the original Constitution of the United States, that said Constitution being the Articles of Confederation, with a brand new since, specifically on the grounds that the Articles of Confederation simply did not work. Going to the example of Mahatma Gandhi, he too, as aforementioned, did indeed embody the idea of saving a nation by ignoring typical legal proceedings, though in his case,
thereby violating the law. Dipshit.
It was typically far more peaceful in nature. He was still at the end of the day
Civil
arrested
disobedience.
multiple times because
Also, I am, again, not a history buff, but I'm pretty sure that Mahatma Gandhi was also somewhat problematic.
he had technically committed crimes in order to achieve independence for his country. And of course, unsurprisingly, the same is true for Jesus Christ, the individual who was supposed to...
Jesus Christ was the lawbreaker extraordinaire, man. He loved breaking laws. That was like his whole thing, man. Like, what do you mean he did not violate any law? That's stupid.
Be the chosen one, the savior of all mankind. And specifically because of these claims and goals, he was ultimately executed for the crimes of treachery against the Roman
crimes.
government,
He broke
as
the
well
law.
as blasphemy and sedition. Now,
Yes.
as previously mentioned, this quote can just as easily apply to legitimate tyranny as well. For example, this quote does just as equally apply to Joseph Stalin, who ignored the laws of the land of Tsarist Russia when he was a communist revolutionary, and then went on to ignore the laws of the land of the Soviet Union once he became the...
Yeah, because he was the law. Yeah, because when you're a fucking dictator, you make the law. It doesn't matter what the law says if you're above it. You are the law. That's why this quote's so problematic for Donald Trump to make in the United fucking States of America, where we have law-abiding citizens, and the president is supposed to be one of them.
General Secretary, still trying to argue that the quote is fundamentally authoritarian on the grounds that some, emphasis on the word some as in not all, of the people and movements it can accurately describe were authoritarian, is like saying that free speech is fundamentally authoritarian because historically...
Hold on. Did he just say something stupid? Hold on.
Authoritarian on the grounds that some Russia when he was a communist revolutionary, and then went on to ignore the laws of the land of the Soviet Union once he became the General Secretary. Still trying to argue that the quote is fundamentally authoritarian on the grounds that some, emphasis on the word some as in not all, of the people and movements it can accurately describe were authoritarian, is like saying that free speech is fundamentally authoritarian.
No, man, you're so stupid. We just went over this. If you don't think that you're breaking the law by saving the country, then you are above the law. That's what you're saying about yourself. Okay? Like people, like actual revolutionaries, like George Washington, who you brought up, or like, fuck it, Mahatma Gandhi. Like, I don't know much about him, but I know that he did engage in civil disobedience. Like, people who are involved in the Underground Railroad, who I can't remember any of their names, I'm sorry. Dubsy, throw a few names up there just for, just so we can recognize them. Like, they were lawbreakers. Jesus was a lawbreaker. Okay? When Stalin broke the law, it didn't matter because he was the law. He can't violate the laws because he's above it. So if you're saying that, and he's talking about himself in the third person. Let's not pretend here. Donald Trump is talking about himself here in the third person. Okay? If he's saying that he can't violate the law and he's saving his country while not violating any laws, that means that he's calling himself above the law.
Because historically speaking, a bunch of tyrants exploited the values of free speech on their rise to power by making speeches. Thus, it is nonsensical to argue that it is fundamentally authoritarian to embrace the quote, "He who saves his country does not violate any law." It is instead—
You can say he who saves his country does not violate any morals or morality or the law of God, maybe. Like, that's the best I can give you, man. Like the law of God, maybe, or the law of like moral. Like I'm really trying here, but it's a stretch. Okay, it's a stretch.
Instead, more accurate to describe the quote as being anti-status quo, as ultimately that is the only thing that everyone that—
Is this the only thing we're talking about? I feel like this is so worthless to upload a whole video about. Like, okay, I just like. If I'm going to make a segment about Donald Trump, this is going to be one small part of a very large segment. You know what I mean? Or at least a larger segment than this. Like, why are you so determined to defend Donald Trump on this point alone? You know? Like, what do you think about Donald Trump bringing Andrew Tate back to the United States? The guy who was being tried by the Romanian government for child rape and trafficking. Like, what do you think about that? Like, Trump literally brought his ass back to the United States. Any thoughts? What about the fact that Donald Trump has a legitimate civil court case against him in which it was proven that he raped a woman and he had to pay them a fine? What do you think about that? Any thoughts? Like, let's talk about the real issues here. What do you think about the fact that Donald Trump basically said trans people can't be in the military anymore, effectively fucking over them like wholesale? Any trans people who are in the military, just fucked, done, out of a job. Great. And also that guts the military too. Like, you just like none of it. Like, let's talk about real issues about Donald Trump. Like, okay, like I feel like at best, like, this is liberal bullshit to like focus in on this one quote and be like, it was problematic, you know? Like, but I'm not calling the quote problematic, which it is, to be clear. But I'm saying, like, if you're going to talk about Donald Trump and the problems that surround him, talk about the fucking problems. This is just a symptom of the problem, that he thinks he's above the law.
The quote accurately describes really has in common. You can't even fundamentally claim it as anti-establishment per se, as some individuals that the quote accurately describes were the establishment at the time. Remember, this quote would still accurately describe Thomas Jefferson when he was actively replacing the Articles of Confederation with the current US Constitution, and he was very much at that time a member of the establishment of the United States government. All of this is to say that the main point that I'm making here is that the ridiculous claim by Never-Trumpers that Trump is somehow secretly ultra-Hitler exclusively because of this quote is, well, frankly, ridiculous. The quote just as easily
Nobody's saying it's exclusively because of this quote, dumbass. Look at the shit he's done so far. He's enacted like how many fucking executive orders against trans people? You know? What else? My brain's not working. Let's just take a look. Donald Trump, 2025 executive orders. Establishment of the strategic Bitcoin reserve in the United States digital asset stockpile. That's great. What is this amendment to duties to address the flow of illicit drugs across our southern border? I mean, I'm okay in principle with illicit drugs not coming over our border, but I feel like that's just going to be anti-immigration, which again is just a mark of fascism. Oh yeah, he said that he was going to ship over all of the immigrants back from the United States back to Mexico, so that's cool. Not fascist at all, by the way. Addressing risks from Perkins? I don't know what that is. Amendment to duties to address the situation at our southern border. More immigration shit. Oh yeah, immediate expansion of American timber production. So I know loosely about this one. He's basically going to just say that like national parks can be raised over, right? In spite of like all, that's another tenet of fascism is like just throwing science to the wind. You know, oh well, global warming isn't real. Climate change isn't real. We don't need those trees. That's fine. Even though all the environmentalists are like, maybe you shouldn't do that, right? Great. Designating English as the official language of the United States. Another great one. Not fascist at all, though, right, man? Right?
Describes anti.
This too. Trump amplify. Oh yeah. This one just came out. Yeah, this hot one just dropped. Trump amplifies no LGBTQ symbol using Nazi-era imagery in military ad post. Trump's Truth Social post has a pink triangle overlaid with a prohibition symbol. For those who don't know, the pink triangle was a symbol given by Hitler to gay people, people considered homosexuals in World War II, before they were sent to camps and then forced to do labor and or fucking be killed. So he's basically putting a cross over queer people and saying, I mean, this is one step removed from just putting the fucking symbol on them and shipping them out to the camps. So that's cool. No fascism here, though. It's, you know, it's fine.
Tyranny as much as it does actual tyranny. The only thing that everyone that the quote accurately describes has in common is the idea that they are anti-status quo. Do I expect Never-Trumpers to honestly have a discussion on this or have their minds changed on this whole situation?
I'll have an honest discussion with you, man. Change my mind. Change my mind on Donald Trump. Seriously, like, hit me up. My email is the allocator, TheAlec, ator@gmail.com. See if you can change my mind. I'm willing to hear you out.
No, I don't. But of course I don't have to. It's not a matter of me convincing the Never-Trumpers that they're wrong. It's not even a matter of me convincing everyone else that I'm right. It is instead a matter of me pointing out that the—
Look at all these donors! What the fuck? I have like 4 Patreon donors. What's wrong with you people? That's bullshit.
Never-Trumpers are wrong in convincing everyone else that the Never-Trumpers are wrong. You don't have to agree with me. It's just a matter of getting you to disagree with them. But with all of that said, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again.
That's stupid. I can't believe that whole 6 minutes was about one Trump quote. Really milked that one. Okay. Yeah, give Alec more money. Sleepy. Sleepy. Uh-oh. Sleepy. I don't think I can do any more React segments. Do I have it in me to do some Sonic Adventure 2? I don't know, I'm so sleepy. Ugh. Oops. I don't know, I think I gotta call it quits. I'm too sleepy. I'm feeling it hard now. Maybe too sleepy, yeah. Okay, well, Dylan Burns is live, so I'll send you there. I'm now live? Oh, well, maybe I won't send you to Dylan Burns then. Do you have... Do you have redirects enabled? I cannot redirect to you from YouTube. I can put you on my site, but I cannot redirect to you from YouTube. One sec. I gotta host you. Host. Okay. No thanks for being on the site. Well then, okay. Then I'm just gonna redirect to Dylan Burns then. Here. If you're on the YouTube chat, I encourage you to go over to my sibling Max. Their stream, they just started. Go over there. But otherwise, otherwise, I'm just going to redirect to Dylan Burns. Okay. Redirect's happening. Thank you guys so much for being here. Love you all. I will be back on Friday. At which point, I will update you about what went down tomorrow night. Should be an interesting time. I'm sure that the Republicans will greet me warmly and fondly, as they always do. As they did today, of course. Until then, take care of yourselves, and yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys later.